Because the live stream was scheduled to start at 7, I have started the live stream. So hello, everyone, and if anybody's logging in. We have a tour going on outside, so when they return, we will start the Q&A. I'm turning that up. I just have I didn't get anything done to my knee. I'm just trying to do a PT rehab, you know.
Makes sense.
Get it? I just kept spraining it over and over and over because there's arthritis in it, but it's still not severe enough for surgery. So I decided I'm just not gonna not wear it.
So the docs actually told you that it's not severe enough for surgery?
Yeah, you know, you can always push it, but I might as well wait, I think. It's not the normal thing that's wrong. It's not the normal, right? Whatever. Because I fell on it weird, like 10 years ago. It's not just regular wear and tear, it's a weird thing.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. I think I can be stronger if I exercise, though. So we'll see. Oh. I didn't test this mic before. How does it sound to you? Does it sound good? Is there a little ring?
You're a little bit of feedback.
Okay. I'll fix that once the true speakers come. I will do a voice check. The true speakers. Like I said, I want to sit here because I'm on camera. I feel goofy just like putting myself on camera so that people know that there's actually something going to happen. Because the slides don't work. I can't get the PowerPoint to work. Otherwise, I would have wrote something like, wait. So back to my construction. The idea is that to my house, past my house and up to Rita Lynn Court should be finished so that they can open the road for the winter and then start again. But last year they didn't manage to be able to do that. So, you know, I'm not sure if it'll happen. It's easy to accept things when you don't expect them to be better, right? You know what I mean? Like I know, under promise, over deliver, right? That's what I'm doing to myself.
Yeah.
I'm saying it won't be, then I won't be all broken up when it's if that happens. I'll be excited if it opens instead of thinking it's supposed to open. Yeah. I don't know, because it's not, they don't just do like this, then this, then this, then this, right?
So you can't tell
I can't tell.
how far along they are.
Yeah. Hello, this is my periodic announcement that the Q&A will be beginning once the tour that is happening outside ends. Oh, yeah. Now, just because somebody was logged in, I wanted to just say, hey, we're here, so I
Yeah.
just said a few things like, oh, we'll start.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
thank
over
you.
there and come back, because I'm gonna check the
Yeah.
video and the audio.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'll come sit there. Once it looks like it did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, come on up. Dave is going to watch the doors if somebody shows up late. Yeah. 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 Am I watching the feed? Okay. Okay, you're watching the feed.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, so are we good on audio and feed? Are we good on the YouTube feed? Okay. Okay. Okay, well, so welcome to those of you who are online and welcome to those of you who are in person. I am the Reverend Diana Smith. I am the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society. I have been UUS's minister for, well, I'm beginning my 4th year here. Yes. So I'm beginning my 4th year here as UUS's minister. I have served congregations out in Washington State and in Boston before this. And previously, I had a career working on environmental policies and public involvement, programming, those kinds of things. It's a delight to be with you tonight and to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Society, whether you're in person or online. I am a somewhat tall white woman with curly brown and white hair. Keeps getting whiter all the time. One of those things that just kind of tends to happen. I am wearing a blue shirt today, and I am standing in UUS's pulpit in our sanctuary, and with me is Nick.
Oh, you want me to?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Nick Kaplan. Those of you here in person already had this introduction, but I want to share with anyone viewing online. My name, again, is Nick Kaplan, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education here at UUS. I'm just barely into I have completed 1 whole year and have started my 2nd year in Iowa City area. So I'm newer to Iowa and Iowa City, but I'm thrilled to be here.
Thanks, Nick. So most of you who are here are already a little bit familiar with the learning space. What we wanted to do tonight is I'm just going to give you a quick sort of 5-minute kind of high-level overview, which may be a review for some of you who have already been on the tour with Nick, and then we're going to take some questions and answers. So, the learning space is, as you know, is a space that the Unitarian Universalist Society is opening up for trans, queer, and other marginalized children and youth, as well as friends and allies, to attend their online learning or homeschool program in a safe, welcoming, supportive space. We are going to be providing supplemental programming, elective learning chances here, and we'll be providing supervision, trained adult supervisors. The learning space came to be, it was developed this spring when Iowa began passing some discriminatory legislation, particularly targeting trans children and youth. Some families with trans children, some trans and non-binary folks came and asked if it would be possible for UUS to set up a kind of space like this. As soon as we started thinking about it, we realized that it would be important, that there was a greater need than just from members of people who were already members of our congregation, and so we felt it would be important to open it up, make it this kind of space available to more people in our community. We also recognized that families of trans children and youth are facing substantial additional burdens because of the discriminatory legislation that the state has passed. And so we wanted to provide a program that had supplemental services and that also would be as free of cost as we could. So I'm really proud to be able to tell you that as soon as we came up with, as soon as this idea was spurred on, the Board of Trustees of UUS was immediately supportive. They immediately recognized how this fits with our mission and with our values and the principles of Unitarian Universalism, and that this was something that we needed to do and to support. I'm also really proud that our congregation has been so supportive of this. We launched a crowdfunding campaign to provide some support for things like utilities and some of the supplemental programming. We've got a lot of volunteers who are offering trainings, as well as people who will be acting as trained adult supervisors. And it's been really amazing to see how this congregation, as well as Unitarian Universalists around this country and our wider geographic community, have really moved in to support this kind of program. Quick question, who is here as a family, students or families of students who are thinking about attending? Okay, great. And then how about volunteers? Okay, just good to know who I've got here. So just a really quick overview of how this will function. Students who are attending the learning space will either be enrolled in online school or in a homeschool program and will need to be registered with us. If you haven't registered yet, there are registration forms online, and we have some paper registration forms if you're here in person. And there will be, so when students register or when families register your students, there will be different bell schedules. Families can choose the 7:55 to 2:55 bell schedule for elementary school, or the 8:50 to 4 p.m. bell schedule for middle school and high school. And you can also choose an extended bell schedule, which is the 7:55 to 4 p.m. We'll have pickup and drop-off windows that are 10 minutes around those bell schedules. And students will be able to attend on different days of the week. So some students may attend Monday through Friday. Other students may attend Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or other things depending on different needs. Students will also be able to register during the year if the need comes up. We know that there may be some students who are wanting to try out beginning in the public school system and see how that works. And if that need to join the learning space arises and we have room, we welcome you to register and to join us. We'll be following the Iowa City Community School District schedule, except that we won't be doing early release days. So, and all of this information is going to be in the family handbook that you will receive. Right now we just have a draft that's out in the atrium, but there will be all of this, and you can ask me and Nick questions about this as we go along. And so we will be beginning on August 23rd, which is the day ICCSD starts classes. For supervisors, for volunteers who are here, We will have trained adult supervisors. We will always have 2 adults at any given time for our safer congregations practices. Our adults will have gone through a background check process and will be doing training. We're asking that adults who are not family members attend our trans inclusion and congregations classes. If you are a family member, you can attend trans inclusion and congregations. We also have youth mental health first aid training that will be happening on Monday, August 21st. There's information about that out in the atrium. We'll have the option to do a Beloved Conversations training throughout the year, which is ongoing training and reflection on anti-racism and anti-oppression work. There will be an option to attend a Facilitation for Liberation class on October 7th, and our volunteers will be going through our general orientation and safety training. So that's kind of my brief-ish overview of things of how this will operate. So now let's do some questions and answers. What questions do you have? I know people who are in person have already started asking Nick things on the tour. Do we have any online?
No questions yet.
No questions yet. I know one of the questions that I heard people asking on the tour was for volunteers. Will you need to do an entire day or can you do a half day? Yes, the volunteer slots are set up for half days. If you have not yet registered, we really ask you to register soon and share information about how to register as a volunteer with your friends. Also, if you please share information about the learning space with other groups that you are part of, with other families who might be interested. We really want to get the word out. Yeah, Dave.
So students can be here all 5 days or Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, and they have some choices. Once they're here for the whole day, or can they be here for the morning and go someplace? Are they coming and going?
Okay, so Dave's question is, so students can attend differing days if they want. So that's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, and Thursday, whatever days make sense, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So given that, once a student is here, can they come and go? If a student is leaving midday, we will need to have that information as part of their registration or shared from their families, so that we know that somebody is coming and going. We also will need to know who they can come and go with. So the adults who would be picking a student up will need to be registered with us. And we are planning on having an option for, say, older students who are wanting to, say, go to something at Kirkwood Community College, which is close to us, be able to check themselves in and out, as long as we have that information as part of your registration or that information from your family. So we need to know, again, for everybody's safety, we need to know who is coming and going. Nick, did I miss anything?
No, that Kirkwood piece covered what I wanted to say.
Okay. Carolyn, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how much structure the piece will happen here. Will there be time for everyone to be expected to be studying so that they can all be artists and harmonies? Do you know what I mean?
So Carolyn's question is, what kind of structure will there be while students are here? So students, when they're here, are expected to be going through their classes, doing their work, their school work. We will try to have a lunchtime that is generally the same, but we also know that different bodies work differently, and so if regular lunchtime is not the time that your body needs to eat, that's okay. And if your body needs to eat outside of that normal lunchtime, that's okay too. We will be planning on having some supplemental activities. We don't have those scheduled yet of exactly when those will be happening, but whenever those activities would be happening, if your student wants to join those activities at that point, that would be the time for those kinds of activities. Nick.
So those supplemental activities that Reverend Diana is referring to, we've been working with Antelope Lending Library, for instance, about some activities that they might be bringing in, some of their educators who might come in, some additional people who might be coming in and doing certain activities like music or fiber arts or all sorts of different things. Our goal will be to make it so that as many students can attend those as possible. But to get back to your question about the structure of the day, some of that is going to depend on the students' online or homeschool programming. So sometimes in online schooling, they might have to check in with a certain teacher at, say, 2 p.m. or 10:30 they meet with this small group to work on a lesson or something like that. So we're going to be paying attention to that during those first couple of weeks to see what different students' availability is during the day. And then our goal is to fit in the supplemental activities around the students' schedules. If all of them are available at any given time for activities, then we'll look at what's best over the course of the week. But our goal is to prioritize the students' online school programs or homeschool programs, and then supplement that with those additional activities.
Jackie.
Yes, I was wondering, we're talking about having our children be here 3 days a week. If we decided that we wanted to change that, add more, would that be all right?
So this question is, they are planning on initially having their students attend 3 days a week. Later on, would they be able to add additional days of the week if desired? Yes, you should be able to do that. The only thing would be if we fill up, because we have a maximum capacity of 50 students, we're not there right now. But if we were to, say, fill up and, have all of those spaces already taken, but right now, that's not an issue. So you can definitely get into the school. You should be able to get into the school year and then see what's happening. Karen.
Yeah, because our students are ICCSE, the online program, they have specific times, like we're saying, they have to be class this kind of time. I'm assuming we send their schedule with them like the first week so that you guys know when they're supposed to be in class. Because my kids, they're good kids, but they are both ADHD. So especially the littlest one, she gets off track sometimes. So if I send her a schedule, so you guys go, oh, sorry, we're supposed to be in class right now. Because they design, oh, this is recess time, this is lunchtime, that kind of stuff.
So this question is, some of the kids who are attending have different needs, or just getting used to the new school year. And some of the ICCSD online classes you have, you need to be checking in at 10 o'clock at this point and at 2 o'clock at this point, or these different things. I'm just going to kind of do a quick summary for the folks who might not have heard this. But so can we help those students who need a little bit of help knowing when to show up in their classrooms? No, it's time. We should be able to provide that support. One thing I forgot to say earlier about adult volunteers is the adults who are volunteering should be able to engage in your own work. Maybe it's reading a book, maybe it is work that you are doing that you can kind of pop in and out of, but adults who are here should be able to be engaging in their work, but they'll also be paying attention to and supporting students. So adults should be able to do some basic help with tracking things. Yes, Carolyn. Oh, sorry, Nick. you wanted to add
Yes.
things in.
Thank
you. Sorry.
So on the registration form for students, there is a place for the special needs of that student. And that would be things like needs help tracking time and things like that. And so if we're made aware that a student is going to need help keeping track of their schedule, that's the kind of thing that we can do. And that's the kind of thing that we would love to know about on that registration form.
And then adding to that, if the need appears during the school year, let us know, so that, because we know that sometimes we get into the school year and it's, oh, yeah, there's this piece that could use a little bit more help, so just let us know. Yeah. Carolyn, yes.
If a student is having trouble with the subject matter, would the volunteer be able to like move them after their science, or is that part of the deal?
Okay, so this question is if a student is having some challenges with their subject matter, their coursework like math or reading, will the volunteers be able to help them with that? So volunteers will not, primarily will not be teachers, okay? We do have some retired teachers and some retired librarians who are going to be volunteers. I'm looking at some of those folks right now. However, we don't have enough of those folks to fill all of those shifts. So if a student is struggling with some of their subject matter, probably their primary best resource is going to be their teacher, if they're in online school, whatever that system is. And if an adult volunteer, supervisor, has some of those skills to do some of that help, that's great, right? But we're not going to ask people, and I know this also gets complicated. I mean, I did a math minor in college, but it's been a long time, and I've got to say, if somebody in grade 11 or 12 or possibly even grade 10 asked me for help with math right now, I'd be afraid to go too far. I don't want to mess you up, right? So we're going to need to be aware of those kinds of things, that it's going to be easier to probably assist somebody in the lower grades than somebody in the higher grades because we have our limitations. Nick.
So again, I'm going to go back to those registration forms. On the volunteer registration form, we do ask about any special skills or interests. And so we do have feedback from some of our volunteers about certain areas that they are strong in or that they're passionate about. And so there are days where a student would be able to get help in a particular subject matter, but it wouldn't necessarily be consistent every day of the week. So as Reverend Diana said, that's not the first step. Something that I have also seen in multi-level spaces is that children and youth are really good at helping each other. And so the benefit of having so many different grade levels together is, first off, they've had it a lot more recently than we have, as Reverend Diana was referring to. Their peers, the other students who are here, will have taken those classes more frequently, more recently, potentially. And so that's another resource that would be available. Because as I've seen, children and youth really like to be good at something, and it feels good to be able to help. And so I see that as also another resource that might be beneficial.
Christine, have there been any questions coming online?
I've been soliciting and waiting.
Okay, so no questions from online. Any other questions from in person?
How are you anticipating challenges might come up? I'm thinking of, personality conflicts, or, just because you feel marginalized doesn't mean that you know how to deal with all situations. So what are we going to do about those kinds of things?
Okay, so this question was about personality conflicts or situations that might arise between students and how we might be able to help students work through those things. We will be giving our volunteers some basic training in sort of classroom management kind of techniques for lack of, so some classroom management techniques as well as youth mental health first aid. So some basic training in different ways of helping children and youth work through issues that might come up. If situations arise that require a little bit more skill, usually either Nick or I will be around, we'll be in the building. We may be in a meeting or something like that, but if it's something that urgently requires one of us and our skills, one of us will probably be able to be a resource. We also have people with different skill sets who will be in the space. Nick, what am I forgetting to say?
So when it comes to student conflict and things like that, our space is really set up to support us in those moments. So the main room that we will be spending time in, the fellowship hall, is a nice large space. It will be easy for students to separate themselves. If they say, hey, I don't want to sit with this person, we're going to respect that. We're not going to require that certain ages sit at certain tables and things like that. They can spread out in the space as they need to. We also, in our religious education wing, we have a sensory break room. So we have a space with softer lighting, with white noise from the water filter in the fish tank, with cushions on the floor. We have wobble seats and headphones. So we're set up in many different ways to support children and youth when they're feeling at odds with someone else or with the space.
Any other questions? I'm going to just give you a moment to think. Okay. Well, I'm just really glad that you all came out tonight to see the space, to ask your questions. We're really excited and proud that we're able to offer this space. We, as all of us, as I know you all share this sentiment, all of us wish that the situation in Iowa had not arisen that prompted us to offer this, and we're glad to be part of a community offering support. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of that community as a family, as a student, as an adult volunteer. We're really, really grateful that we are all in this together supporting each other. Thanks for coming. Take good care. Nick and I are going to stick around for a little while if you have a question you wanted to ask us, just on more of a one-on-one basis. Bye.
Registration link.